All right, man. We got a couple of interesting PlayStation news, sir. Real quick, the disk drive for the PlayStation 5 Slim requires the device to check for a license online. So you need to have your console connected to the internet in order for you to be able to use the Blu-ray drive.
Wow.
Um, a lot of people are calling it weird. Um, I think, like, I mean, if you buy an old digital console, you already have internet, right? It's like there's no go. I don't know what the big outrage is about it, right? If you buy a digital console only, and you choose, it's because you plan to get your games digitally. You cannot enter a code on your console and get a game.
Correct.
You gotta be connected to the internet. So I don't know what the
Yeah.
big deal is about this thing having to ping some server somewhere to
Yeah.
authenticate or connect to a license. Um, it's probably something due to a Blu-ray or licensing or some sort of like anti-piracy thing, more than likely. So, um, yeah, it's very interesting. It's kind of, a lot of people are saying it's kind of bizarre, but it's it's a it's a no new it's non news to me, right? Because if you're choosing to buy a digital console and it's because you have a reliable internet connection where you can just download your games, and hey, I can upgrade and add the disk drive and I can play my old games. Sure, I can go ahead and do that, and that's no problem. So this is a non-issue to me, and yeah, what do you think about this, dude?
I don't know, man. I it doesn't bother me either. It sounds like well, what to do about nothing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to downplay it, but like it just doesn't move me. Like I'm trying to find an angle right now that like makes me go like, "Oh man, why? What? Where I would complain?" But I just feel like nowadays it's so common and so standard. And the fact that you even have the option to have this thing and it
Right.
has a requirement for the option, like you should be happy that they even gave you the choice. I've already said it very clearly. I think it still doesn't make sense to buy a digital edition. To me, it still makes sense to buy the disc-based one. But I still like that I have an option. So therefore, stop getting mad when your options are limited
Yeah.
on the menu. Like it's, that's what they're serving up.
Right.
You have a choice, thankfully.
Yeah. More than likely, this needs to pair the serial number for the drive with the console, and again, it goes back to piracy. So this is a non-issue. If you have
But
already it,
Obed, it's a digital edition device. You're gonna have to have the internet
right,
anyways, just to have that console as a whole.
exactly, because you just can't enter codes into nothing and get a game. You
Right.
have to be
It's
connected
literally
to
digital. It
right,
has to be sentient on the internet. Like that's literally how it works.
right. So
There's
plugging a
no way.
device in so you're mad that you're buying a device that requires an internet connection on your console that already
Like
requires an internet connection.
right.
It's so dumb.
Right. I don't like I'm it's like
It's
trying to make sense of it. It's
right,
like I can't believe that I'm paying for a streaming service that requires me to have internet. You see
right,
how backwards that sounds?
right, right,
Like
right.
I don't know where the
Uh,
divisiveness
yeah,
supposedly is. I'm trying to think of something.
yep.
I can't.
I
You
can't
got me
believe
worked up now because it just doesn't make when something makes no sense to me, I'm like dumbfounded. Like, really?
Joe, I can't believe that I plugged in the Roku on my TV and it's asking for Wi-Fi.
Stop it.
Right? Come on. How
Right?
how dare they?
I'm sorry. What like who are these people, Obed?
Yeah. So this to me is not news and you
Could
know,
there be a choice where they could have said, you need to like you can download onto like a thumb drive, like a firmware thing, and then plug it
but
in
it's
and not
not
have internet, and
it's
then it
yeah.
like somehow unlocks it. They could have done that, but I don't understand why. Again, like I still don't. That's just me trying to come up with something.
It's not firmware. Dude, I
It's
bet
not.
I bet that the regular PS5s do that on the regular
Oh,
drive,
probably. You probably couldn't
and
even
you
tell.
can't tell. Yeah, and now they have to put a disclaimer out there
Yeah.
because it's got a pair. Oh yeah, it's this thing's got a pair. It's like, well, that didn't happen with like the non-digital consoles, like not that you know of, right?
We don't
We
know.
don't know. So
We don't
like
know.
to like they're I mean, it probably comes already paired from the factory, right?
Yeah.
When they when they do their initial setup. But in this case, this is a non you know a non issue in my opinion.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. But like even the guys at Digital Foundry are like, oh, what this is very strange. They shouldn't be. Yeah, dude, it's an add-on to an all digital console. What whatever. So interesting bit of news, Joe. Connie Booth, who's been with PlayStation for over 30 years, I think 34 years, um, announced. Okay, so let's do a quick recap on the score on the story. The story was that she was retiring from Sony.
Hmm.
She's been with the company for 34 years, so she was going to be retiring. David Jaffe, creator of Twisted Metal and God of War, comes out and says, "No, she was fired." So now there's a big, I don't want to say controversy, but what's going on here. Um, Allegedly, what's happening, or allegedly, and this goes back to Jim, who also quote unquote retired. What did I say a few weeks ago? It's like, yeah,
I know.
he
You called it.
retired, right? So
Yep.
um, allegedly, she has been pushing really hard for games as a service, and a lot of people in the company were not comfortable with how hard it was being pushed on everyone, and studios were complaining about, hey, we don't want to do games as a service, we want to do our story based single player thing, right? More than likely, um, if you ask me, more than likely this was probably her trying to push Insomniac to do something, since Insomniac is now their golden boys at Sony.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe she was pushing Insomniac too hard to maybe monetize Spider-Man in a certain way, or maybe their next project monetize it in a certain way that kind of makes a games as a service thing, and that's why Sony purchased Bungie. It's like Bungie is their games as a service thing, right? So they don't want to have their other studios that primarily focus on story-driven games to have to move into service games as a service. Insomniac went through it. Remember that game that they did for EA, and
I
then
know.
I even forgot the name because they changed the name of the game and they changed the art style and everything. The game got really bad reviews. Like, it's the only bad Insomniac game that's out there. So, um, apparently this all got to the I guess the current CEO's ears, and she was let go. That the direction that she was trying to take the company into, more games as a service thing was was not good. And I can probably say the same thing for Jim Ryan. I think Jim Ryan was in the same boat. So I think in order for Sony to get to her, they have to get to Jim first, and that's why they did it. Um, they went ahead and got Jim, and then uh, got Connie, and then now I don't know what's gonna happen. So very interesting time with Sony, man. But what do you think?
I think you're on to something here. Like there's clearly, as things are going on right now with just the overall upgrades going on as a structure as a company, they're clearing house. The timing of it is quite fascinating considering like they're still winning as a company, Obed. Like they're still in a great position. But
Technically,
they can't risk it. And it's great to see them not to be on the offense and not be they're already being kind of reactionary in this, but at the same time, I think it is kind of proactive considering that there's a new generation that's in the works right now for Sony. So like, yeah, I don't know, man. I echo your sentiments. I think everything you said makes sense. I think we'll have to continue to examine closely what their next moves are because I'm not gonna say I'm concerned because I still think they got this thing. I think they've got a good level of where they're going as a company, but there's definitely some warnings that we have to pay attention to that
Right.
hopefully no one comes in and gets too wild with changing the structure.
Yep. And that's what I said that I think they were too complacent with their position, and now Xbox went ahead and bought everything.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I still stand by within the next I guess within the next 5 months or 5.5 months, Sony's gonna make a big move with a publisher, more than likely Japanese developer publisher, because they do see a real threat from Microsoft now trying to acquire Japanese studios. So I it seems to me that there's warning signs. I'm not getting too worried about it, right? Because it seems
Yeah.
like they're course correcting at the right time. This is like, if they don't course correct now, then when the next gen comes out in 2028, then that's when we're gonna see some problems.
Mm.
But right now is the time to do it. So, they don't. That's again going back to Disney. They could have course corrected in
For
2019,
sure.
and it's almost the end of 2023, and you're already too late.
Yeah.
You're already too late. So
Totally.
it looks like they're making the moves, they're making the changes now um, that it's not too late, and we'll see. I know that there's a lot of people that are properly equipped with with the knowledge to drive Sony, or more specifically Sony Interactive Entertainment, into the future with a good balance of both, the story driven, first person, or not first person, but first party story driven single
Yeah.
player
Yeah.
games. But there's also a space for games as a service.
Yeah.
So they've got Bungie working on Marathon, and you know they can probably snatch another like smaller studio, but to do something similar. But man, they're in a very interesting place. Yeah, like you said, they're on top at the moment, and that's fine. I mean, next to Nintendo, right? Nintendo's still
That,
Nintendo's still
yeah.
dominating like crazy,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
But they're very well positioned, right? And it, instead of them waiting for this to turn into an Xbox One moment, they're just making sure that they don't do that. So yeah, there's industry veterans that are equipped to handle this, and I'm hoping that they make the right choices. But I also hope that they can broaden their studios, and I don't I
Totally.
don't I don't want them to keep buying stuff, right? But at this point, you have to be safe, and you have to be strategic about it too. So, Nintendo hasn't bought anything. I think the last thing they bought was the guys that do the Luigi's Mansion games, and that's again a strategic kind of like purchase there, since they were already involved with their own IP. But they're doing their own thing. They don't care. They're on top of the world, so they got a console coming next year, and they'll be totally
For
fine.
sure. For
They're
sure.
gonna be totally fine. So yeah, very interesting stuff, man. Well, I'm gonna follow this one a bit closer, and see where it goes, and hopefully have an update. Hopefully here in the next couple of weeks.
Totally.
Last bit of news that I have, Joel, is that Xbox had a showcase for some of their stuff coming out, and Konami showcased a an in-engine demo for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and I am very excited. Like, I have zero confidence in Konami, Joel, but I love this game so much. It's my favorite game, my number one favorite game of all time, dude. And I'm looking at the this trailer, the in-engine trailer. They're using Unreal Engine 5. By the way, they're not using Fox Engine, which was their in-house engine that Kojima helped develop when he was still in Konami. So,
Mm.
um,
Probably a licensing thing too.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they own Fox Engine, but now they're going with UE5, and UE5 is truly a
Yeah.
next gen engine. And this game looks incredible, dude. It looks a little bit kind of like the movement looks like Phantom Pain, but a little bit slower, which is kind of like how MGS3 plays. You know, it's a little bit more compact, and it doesn't because if it not being open world, it doesn't have the same, I guess, traversal as Phantom Pain would. But bro, it's just I'm watching this and I was like, I'm so excited, and it's hard for me to fathom that they're using the same voice acting as three,
Yeah.
because that could take me out of it.
Yeah. Totally.
I would have rather them just do the whole thing again and re-record everything. But you know what? At this point, I'll take it. And yeah, it looks incredible. It looks really really good. So I don't know if you have a chance to watch the trailer, but it looks so good.
I did, and it looked really good. Like I know someone like you who's a fan. If you're saying you're happy, like, and it looks good,
Yeah,
and you have no faith in these people, but you love the game, like that's a great sign. That's a vote of
yeah,
confidence, and I'm happy for you. I'm happy for many fans of it, and hopefully maybe new fans will be brought into through this and want to go and play through the series as well.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully they go back and remake the other ones.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
assuming
Yeah,
they make this well and it's looking good. Yeah.
yeah. Certainly too. Like a lot of people felt at the time, right? They felt betrayed with two, with the kind of like a debate and switch. I'm not gonna go into spoilers because it's a great game, and I
No,
think
no.
everyone should play two, especially
Oh,
right now with the current like political and internet thing that's going on.
sure.
Play MTS2. That game was 15 years ahead of its time when it comes to like predicting the internet. So, you guys go check it out. Um, I'm very excited. I'm very very excited. So I saw the gameplay trailer and I kind of wanted to go back and play Phantom Pain, but I got too much to play. So, um, dude, like Phantom Pain is one of those games that if someone asked me which game would you like to experience from the beginning without mind wipe, right, and experience one game from the beginning without knowing anything, I would do Phantom Pain. Phantom Pain
Yeah.
was so good. Um, and yeah, the story itself is kind of thin, but um, the game is more than that. Is storytelling through gameplay. Like you make your own story. You're a big boss, right? And you make these things happen. And that to me was just so good. And then you go back and if you listen to the tapes at the end of the game, man, like and you get all that exposition, perfect. So, yeah, real good. I'm real happy. Can't wait. So no date on this thing yet, but I know that um the collection came out. Kind of divisive right now. I heard the PC version's kind of
Oh,
busted.
yeah.
Yeah, heard the PC version's kind of busted, and even the console versions are not performing up to par when it comes to like texture quality and all that. So, a little bit unfortunate there, but at this point, we'll take it as long as these games are not lost in time or
Totally.
stuck on PS2 or the PS3 collection. So, yeah, man.